A very good morning. I hope and I believe all of you are doing well. And I believe that all of you who are here are appearing for the tomorrow's INICET exam. So just wanted to connect for those, I'm sure that you guys might be facing some uh, anxiety, the last minute, some panic attacks or something. So to tackle that, that's why we are here, to give you some tips and suggestions from my end for the tomorrow's exam. So before we start, actually, I really want to wish each one of you appearing for the exam tomorrow all the very best, and all my best wishes, prayers are with each one of you. I would really, really pray for each one of you. All of you fare well in the INICET exam, and you come out of the exam hall with the smiling faces, and with all the gratitude that you really performed well. Whatever efforts you have put in, they have made a difference, and you've been able to perform well. So I would really pray for each one of you for that, right? And so, guys, if you have any queries, please feel free to ask. Tell you about some tips and suggestions for the exam tomorrow. First of all, make sure that you have kept everything ready today for whatever needs to be carried to your examination hall, your admit card and the ID, right? Make sure that's in place. Second, very important, please reach the center well in time. I have seen almost every time at least one student reaching the center just 1 minute late and not being allowed to give the exam, right? So please make sure that you do not have that last minute hustle. It's always better to reach the center early than to rush at the last minute, right? So you never know what unexpected things might happen on the way. So please give yourself that extra time frame and reach the center well in time. Okay, that's very, very important. And yeah, when you enter there, when you're there, you're entering the exam hall. All of you, I want you to do this exercise, which is basically, as you enter the exam hall, please exhale out all the doubt that you might have, all the negative thoughts that you might have, and inhale, take a deep breath, and inhale all the confidence, the belief, and the trust that I am going to do well. And no matter what happens, I am going to stay calm and I'm not going to get panicked, right? Keep telling it to yourself that this is just another exam. This is not a life and death situation, right? Ye nahi to koi aur sahi, right? So keep this always in mind, not only for a person in your life, but also for the exam. We have to give our best attempt. But if we are, something happens, things don't go in our favor, but then also it's absolutely fine, right? This is not like the last exam and the last opportunity that you have. So do not attach too much importance to the results of the exam. Just focus on your efforts and take one question at a time, right? Now, it might happen that during the exam, the first block, the initial questions that you have itself might turn out to be googly. You might not be able to answer them. It happens, right? So also understand and anticipate that I will not know answer to all the 200 questions. So for those questions where I do not know the answers, those might be my first few initial questions, but then the rest of the questions are something that I would be able to answer. So if you get the first set itself, which is on the difficult side, do not start thinking of I've lost the game, right? That's very, very important. Maybe that the few questions which were difficult, you've got it in the first set itself, right? So make sure you keep telling this to yourself, no matter what, I am not going to get panicked. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, take one question at a time. Like I said, trust your first instinct. Do not overthink on the questions. If you have marked the answer once, it's always better to stay with that, because the first instinct that you get, it's actually from the data that you have stored in your subconscious mind, from all the resources and the knowledge that you have gathered, right? So trust your first instinct. That is very, very important. And please take care of the time management from the beginning itself. Generally what happens is, starting May, we think too much on questions. We give a lot of time to the questions, and then suddenly we realize there are so many questions remaining, right? So please don't do that. From the beginning itself, basically see to it that you are managing your time very well. Now your exam is going to be in blocks, right? The exam is in blocks. So I think that's a good thing that you do not have any option to go back to the previous question. So you're not going to overthink on that. So make sure you are giving the best in every block. Now, how many to attempt? What I have realized lately from the recent NEET PG exam experience as well, that the competition is really tough, right? That's a fact and that's a truth. So even one question incorrect is making a lot of difference in the ranking, right? So what I would suggest is, the best part about INICET is, even if you keep a question for review, it is counted, right? It is taken into the consideration and evaluation. So what you need to do is, the questions that you are not very sure of, you can keep that for review. And after that, at the end, right, make sure you are saving some 5 minutes, 10 minutes in every block for reviewing the questions that you want to review, right? So plan your questions like that. So if you think that this block was easy, okay, so let's say block 1 was easy and you were able to answer like out of 50, 48 questions you got right. So the 2 questions that you were not very sure of, I believe that you can just leave them unattempted. The ones that you have kept for review, you can leave them unattempted. Because now what is happening is, with the level of competition that is there, the score, every mark is important, right? So you have +1 and you have -1/3, which is there. So if you think that looking at the blocks, in every block you are able to get like 40 to 45 ke beach may be also correct, right? So if you take, there are 50 questions and 4 blocks. Out of 50, you are getting 40 questions correct. So that means 40 into 4, you are getting 160 sure correct. I think it's much better than getting 160 correct and plus getting your 30 questions wrong, right? For by attempting more and getting 30 questions wrong and going into negative. So if you think that in a block you are able to get 40 plus correct, okay, this is the bare minimum I'm saying if you are targeting a good rank. Okay, if you're targeting a good rank, if 40 questions is the bare minimum that you have to get right. 160 correct is like the minimum benchmark which is there now to get even into your top 500. You have to get like 160 correct to hone chahiye. So that 160 correct, I mean 160 correct means 160 score is what I am talking about. So you have to take a call ki I want to play safe, like 160 all correct, or you want to attempt more and then get into like 170, 180 correct, what you are getting. You'll have to decide that based on the difficulty level of the paper in the examination hall. If you think that, like I'm saying in a block, that you are getting 45 plus correct, it's better that the questions, the rest of the questions, even if you leave unattempted, especially if they are extremely alien, right? This does not mean that any question where you do not know the answer, you will just leave them unattempted, right? You have to leave those questions unattempted which you think that I have not seen this question, this topic anywhere in all the previous year papers that I have solved. That means this is a topic which is out of the box. Like let's say a pharmacology new drug, which nobody else might know, or some eccentric question in PSM, right? So such questions are the ones you can leave them unattempted. But a question which is on a previously asked topic, that is something that you will have to attempt and you'll have to make it right, because that's a rank deciding question, right? Those questions you don't have to basically try and make as many less mistakes as possible. So today, if you ask me that what we should be doing, my suggestion would be quickly go through all the previous year questions from whatever papers are available, and just go through the question answer without going into the details of the topic, so that at least that information is going into your brain, making sure that you are registering every question and the answer to it, right? So that at least that all the previous year questions are going to be fresh in your mind. Okay, so just quickly go through this. If you have some other plan already there, that does not mean that you change your plan and you just listen to me and do the PYQs. If you do not have any plan and you don't know what to do, then I would suggest that do all the previous year questions as just like the flashcards. And even in that, I would recommend that do it subject wise. Like do all anatomy questions together and start with your weak subjects first. If you think your surgery is weak, OBGY is weak, microbiology is weak, so first start with the PYQs of those subjects first for today, right? And then go on to your strongest subjects. So that will build the confidence for you. right? And if you see that when you're doing the PYQs, you are suddenly realizing, oh, this topic is coming again and again, and I'm making mistake in that, you should definitely revise that topic. Okay, so the choice is absolutely yours, whether you have to study today or not study today. Whatever you have been doing so far, please keep doing that. I am a person who keeps, who used to keep studying even till the time I'm entering the exam hall. So till the last minute, I used to, keep studying. If that works for you, you can do that. If you think, no, that gives me anxiety, you can stop studying. So just do, it's a personal call, whether you have to study till the last minute or not. It's your personal call, right? Few important things to be kept in mind. But tomorrow morning, when you're going for the exam, make sure your glucose levels are good. You are not going without eating anything, right? Have a light breakfast before entering the exam hall. Make sure you are having some Cadbury's from my end on, imagine that Dr. Nikita is giving you that sweets before the exam, wishing you all the best. So, thoda sa to maintain that glucose levels, have that. And make sure you're not drinking a lot of water also, so that your interruptions and the break times during the exam time are minimized. Okay, so few things very, very important. Do not get distracted by the people around. Some centers might have invigilators, who make a lot of noise or something, or you might be distracted by the candidates around. Make sure you are not getting distracted. Just focus on your screen. That is what is going to be your target. And anticipate, again, like I'm telling you, there are going to be questions where you do not know answers. In that case, you just try to connect the dots, integrate with whatever you already know, what you know about that topic, where, so all that, connecting the dots, integrating is important. Please apply all the cheat codes, the MCQ solving skills and the tricks that we have been discussing. We have discussed yesterday also with the mini GT, how you rule out the options, contradictory options. That probably gives you that the one of the options is the correct answer. Odd man out. Any option which has always, never, only is generally an incorrect statement. Match the column, multiple options correct. I've told you the tricks on how to rule out the options, right? So those are your life-saving tricks. So make sure you apply all of them, right? And if at all you think that the exam is so difficult and you are getting panicked, just close your eyes for a minute, take some deep breath, try to get a flashback of all the efforts that you have put in, and tell yourself that with your this panic, you cannot let all the efforts that you have put get into vain, right? So just be there on the ground in the examination hall, giving your 100%. Remember that the match can change even at the last ball. That is, even at the last question, the match can absolutely change. So do not get frightened by the few initial questions which are difficult, or the blocks which are difficult. Your exam, your competition, your rank is going to be decided till the last question. So you have to be there playing very, very well till the last question. Okay, that's very, 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 very important. And trust me, it is not as difficult as it seems to crack the INICET exam. Just maintain your calm, think logically, and use the cheat codes. It helps you big time, basically, to score good. Okay, that's very, very important. And like I said, remember, this is not like the last exam and the last opportunity that you have. If not this one, you are always going to have another opportunity. So the more relaxed you are, the better you would perform. Okay, so that is of the utmost importance for today. And please have good rest today, right? Sleep well on time, wake up on time. And even if you're not able to sleep because of the anxiety, okay? So do not get anxious about the insomnia that you have had today. It's not going to affect your performance. The adrenaline rush in the exam is so high that no matter you have slept, you have not slept well, you'll be able to go through the exam really well, right? And I would be really waiting to hear from each one of you post-exam tomorrow. And I want to see your smiling faces, right, post-exam, and be happy that all our efforts have actually, made a difference. So I would really be working on giving you the true authentic recall of the INICET exam as well, though not tomorrow and maybe not day after tomorrow as well, but in a couple of days, definitely we will be doing that. But currently, let's just focus on giving our best attempt in the exam, right? So all the best, everyone. right? And if you have any queries, please drop in the chat, or if you want, you can switch on your microphones as well, if you want your video as well. I can see the query. Yugal is saying, ma'am, not feeling confident. Yugal, that's absolutely fine. Someone who's going to get rank 1, maybe you as well. Nobody feels confident before the exam. Even if I give you 10 years to prepare for this exam, still you will never feel confident. That's how it is. So the syllabus is vast, and you never know what's going to come in the exam. So you're never going to feel that confidence, right? So, but at least have the faith that, and the belief that I have given my best. So I will perform to the best of my capability, right? Jitna main kar sakta hu, I'll do the best to my capability, right? I will not let the stress, the anxiety, the panic affect my performance. At least that much you can promise to yourself. Any tips for time management in each block is, see, there are 50 questions and you have 45 minutes. So at least try to do those 50 questions in 40 minutes, keeping the 5 minutes extra for the review. Okay, 5 minutes at least you have to keep for review, right? So basically you have 50 questions and 40 minutes is what you have. So every 10 minutes, if you see like 40 minutes hai, so every 10 minutes you have to do, like, imagine like 13 questions in 10 minutes is what is your target. So when you have the timer there, make sure that your timer goes in the reverse manner, right? So you have 45, 44, 43, and that is how it goes. So write down today and make a plan. When my timer is reaching from 45 minutes to 35 minutes, I am 13 questions less. You'll be able to see that how many questions attempted, how many unattempted, right? So write it down and make it for yourself. Minus 10 minutes, 13 questions is what I am targeting. And like I said, lengthy questions, read from the last line, second last line. And still, if you're not able to solve, then read from the beginning. That saves a lot of time. Match the column. I've told you the tricks. Jo pata hai, pehle wo kar lo. Multiple options correct mein. So use all the tricks basically to save your time and trust your first instinct. Do not overthink. If any question is taking a lot of time, it's best that you skip it for the time being, right? And then you come back to it at the end. If any question is taking a lot of time, making sure that you are not getting off track of the time management that you have planned. 10 minutes mein 13 questions karne hain, right? So that is what is going to be your target. Dipanshu have answered, like, how many questions to attempt. So basically it's your 160, or even I would say 165 score is what is your target. So you have a choice, making all 160, 165 questions correct, attempting like those many questions that this is what I'm sure of, or going aggressive and then going into the negative, right? So if you think that you are able to get 165 questions correct, absolutely, I think it's better to play safe as well. But block set, so easily you'll have to decide depending on 45 minimum correct in each block. If you're not getting that, then attempt more. Yeah. Mansa, in INICET, the questions which are answered and you have marked for review, those are considered into evaluation. They will be counted. In NEET PG, those are not counted, but in INICET, they are counted. Manvi, you can come back to the questions that you leave in the same block. You cannot go back from block 2 to block 1, but still the time you are there, 45 minutes, for those 50 questions, you can go back to that question. But once the block is gone, then you cannot come back to that the previous block, right? So each block, so that's a good part, that you will not overthink about the previous questions because तुम्हारे पास option ही नहीं है to go back to those questions, right? So you have basically 50 questions and 4 blocks and 45 minutes each block. Navraj is saying still few subjects yet to revise. What to do? See, you have your information stored in your brain, right? In your subconscious mind. Just to get that confidence ki I am not able to revise the subject, whatever subjects are remaining, uske sirf PYQs dekh lo for today. See, at least that you get that confidence. I've seen the PYQs. That is at least like, you'll get the confidence on that. All the best, Roof, giving INICET MDS, and I'll be waiting to hear from you as well. Yes, Simran. Right. Anybody has any queries? Okay. So guys, quickly, because this is what used to be for INICET, marked for review are considered. If it has changed after the recent one, the plan, let us quickly check that. Okay, so what we'll do is we will recheck and confirm the recent prospectus, because what I know is in INICET they are considered. The questions marked for review are considered. Okay, so that's what. If the recent prospectus says that they are not considered, if the new pattern which has been introduced, so I'll give you an update on that on the Telegram group. I'll give you an update on that. So in that case, if the review questions are not considered, yeah. So if review questions are not considered, then you have to be really sure when you are marking the questions for review, because just in case you do not get time at end, your questions, if they are not considered, then, it's better that you mark them then and there. You do not keep a lot of questions for review then. The best part about INICET as compared to NEET PG as well, that you can use the backside of your admit card as a rough sheet. So usme kya karna, in that you write down the questions that you have to review. So you have that option. So that's a very important trick that you can use, that this is a question that I'm not sure, I'm marking it for the time being, but I want to review this, all right? I want to see it later. I have to rethink over it. So you can write down those question numbers in your admit card, in the rough sheet basically, right? So abhi ke liye mark kar lena, because you do not want to decrease your number of questions attempted. But when the time is left, for that, you make a list of the questions. This is a question that I have to go back and review. Okay, that's very, very important. Vameshwar, dilemma about changing answers in the last minute. Like I said, do not do that. Even if you are tempted to do that, do not do that, because generally the first instinct is the best instinct, right? So I would suggest that don't listen to your mind and don't change the answers. फोर्थ क्लॉक आते आते माइंड टायर्ड होने लगता है, रत्नेश, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए. Especially if you are very determined, motivated for this exam, scoring good in this exam, you will not get tired, right? So if there is that lack of motivation or the lack of the faith and belief ki, we can do good in this exam, then only you will get that tiredness wala, feeling. So imagine that this exam is going to make a difference in your life, right? So, and how important it is, that should basically keep you motivated. Yeah. Any other queries, guys? Anybody has any queries? Yes, NK, definitely. I do a lot of self-talk for sure. Right, that makes a lot of difference. I think that always there is a conversation going on with the inner me and the outer me, right? So I'm a very, very staunch and a firm believer in the secret, the manifestation, the visualization, the law of attraction. And that is what I want each one of you to start practicing and applying as well. So start visualizing that tomorrow you are going to do really well. You are going to come out, visualize yourself coming out of exam hall with the smiling face, visualize yourself being calm throughout the exam, no matter even if your computer gets stuck, there's a lot of noise around, you are staying calm. So start visualizing all of that, right? So whatever you visualize actually comes true. Dr. Avinash, ruling out options trick. We have discussed पूरा जो कल का हमारा INICET mini GT discussion. It was based on PYQs and all the tricks that I've told you, that how to rule out the options. If you have not watched that session, if you have not watched that video, please watch that video. Okay, in the MedSynapse app, test discussion folder. Chala, that's what I said. How many questions to attempt? Like if you go more aggressive than NEET, because I'm afraid to attempt due to negative marking. See, I'll tell you from my personal experience. When I gave my PG entrance exam, even I was, when I used to give the mock test, we used to attempt, like, I used to attempt all the questions, because we know that kya farak padna hai, you get how much ever score, it is not going to affect, it's not really translating into any branch or any rank per se. But when in the exam hall, in reality, what happens is we get more conscious. So we get more cautious, and instead of attempting, like we had 300 questions, I had attempted only 240 questions. Time was not an issue. I had 45 minutes still there after completing all the 300 questions. But only that fear of negative marking, I did not attempt more. So I landed up attempting only 240 questions. 240 questions were such that where I was very sure these are the accurate ones and I'm pretty sure about the answers. So I had attempted 240, and my friend, we used to study together, both of us being like, good in studies, she attempted like 293, 295. So I'll tell you that what ranks did it translate into. So she got a rank of 600 and I got a rank of 1200, right? So the learning point here is, It is not that you will attempt only the questions that you are sure of. That mistake you don't have to do, that you attempt so less, because of course, if you look at, even when you give a GT, you look at the questions where you are sure about, the number is going to be like not very significant, that it translates into a very good rank. So apart from that questions that you are sure of, you have to go one step ahead, right? By using the tricks that we have discussed on attempting more, right? Now comes, there are going to be few questions that you leave unattempted as well. So those questions which are absolutely alien, like question on new drug kabhi suna hi nahi hai, you cannot connect the dots there, right? You are not finding some trick in the name of the drug to help you mark the answer. Where you are absolutely clueless, those questions you leave unattempted. Okay? Where your instinct is telling you that this is probably the answer, you have read this somewhere and this is the answer, those questions you should definitely mark, right? So do not be too safe also, and do not be too aggressive also. You know, all this you take a call basically in the exam hall depending on the difficulty level. Like I said, in a block you are feeling that I'm able to answer 45 very accurately, that means it's a good thing, right? And the rest you can, 1-2 questions above that you can take a chance. Okay, so in each block, let's say there are four blocks, right? So even if you keep just 2 to 3 questions unattempted, that makes it a total of 8 to 11 questions unattempted. So that is what you have to target at. Okay, so that would be my suggestion. Thank you so much, P. Santosh, for those kind words. How to complete all PYQs, Pawan? It's very easy, right? Like I said, time decide kar lo, right? For today, after this session, just sit down and quickly decide 1 hour maybe for each subject, a big subject, and half an hour just for a short subject, and just quickly go through the question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. That's it. Okay, registering the information that is there. Okay, don't go into the explanations. Don't try to solve the questions by yourself. Just look at the question and just look at the answer. Not even look at the rest of the options maybe, right? So it's basically doing the PYQs like a flashcards. So you don't have to solve the questions by yourself. You just have to see the question and the answer. Pooja, it seems I'm forgetting everything. That's absolutely normal, right? So you should be happy about that. You know, you are normal. You will get that feeling, but you know, if you have given the mini GT yesterday, it might have given you that confidence that as a lag raha tha ki we have forgotten everything, but we have not. Your subconscious mind, your instinct will be there acting, right? So that will retrieve the information for you. So don't worry on that part. Thank you so much, Madhavi. I'll definitely haunt you in the tomorrow's INICET exam as well. You know, I want each one of you to come back with the smiling faces, saying that we could hear the mnemonics, we could hear all the cheat codes and the tricks that really help. You know, that is what all I would be praying about today for each one of you. Pooja saying kal 40 ही correct आए थे GT में. See, Pooja, yesterday's GT was all PYQ based. So if you got 40 correct in the PYQ only based GT, so that means that PYQs थोड़े से ज़्यादा practice कर लो. Okay, so for you, what I would suggest is कि हाँ आज के दिन बैठ के PYQs देख लो. It is, I'm not telling you that the PYQs are going to be repeated. You know, they're not repeated like as it is, except for maybe 1-2 questions here and there. But at least making sure that even those 1-2 questions which are getting repeated, you are not making mistake in that, because those are the questions which like almost 99.5% students will make correct. So those questions you cannot attempt to make wrong, right? वो तो आप गलत नहीं कर सकते if you are looking at a good rank, right? So just like I said, go through the PYQs like flashcards. How many should we attempt for an average student? Okay, first of all, you know, I do not like the term an average student per se. I don't believe any student is an average student. Every student is like the highest potential student for me, right? Everybody has that highest potential, right? But and even don't go to the exam कि मुझे तो सिर्फ average rank चाहिए, सिर्फ 200 rank, 500 rank, 1000 rank भी मुझे आ गया तो भी I'm happy. So don't go with those low ambitions to the exam, right? Go like a fighter, that I am going to get some great ranks. I'm going to perform really well. I'm going to surprise myself with my performance in the INICET exam. Go with that mindset, right? So, you know, your mindset makes all the difference. Trust me, in the exam hall, more than the aptitude, it is the attitude which makes a whole lot of difference. You know, especially for the students who are top rankers, they get more anxious in the exam and they lose the game, right? So then their aptitude does not help. But for a student who's very relaxed, बड़ा अच्छा एटीट्यूड है, रिलैक्स एटीट्यूड है, उनके तुक्के भी बड़े बराबर लग जाते हैं, you know, so attitude makes the whole difference, right? So go with the positive attitude, with the mindset that I'm going to really outperform myself in this exam. And coming to the number of questions that you need to attempt is how many should you attempt is, like I said again, देखो 180 तो आपको attempt करने ही करने हैं. That is the minimum that I would say. 180 is what you have to attempt bare minimum, or maybe 185 also. Above that 185, how much you have to go, whether you have to go to 191, 193, 195, 197, it's all going to depend on the difficulty level of the paper. So 185 तो नहीं तो आपको attempt करने ही है. 185 is like the minimum. Pooja, will that be okay if I read short only today? If you do not have the confidence, like you feel that I'm not remembering even the short topics, then you definitely do that, right? But if you think मेरा short तो बहुत ही अच्छा है, तो फिर वो करके फायदा नहीं है, right? The short and the recent short extra edge as well. You can go through the PDFs quickly. Thank you so much, Mavia. I'm humbled and I'm grateful that I could help, and I would really see this translating into some good. Oh, how to avoid silly mistakes. That is something, you know, silly mistakes are the ones that give you the biggest regret post-exam. Sometimes those silly mistakes keep haunting you for lifetime as well, especially for a person like me, right? I still remember what mistakes I've made in my PG entrance exam. So to make sure that you are not making silly mistakes is, like I said, for reading every question, use the cursor, okay? Use that mouse to make sure that you are reading the word very carefully. You are not missing on not, you are not missing on except in the question, right? And do not read any question with a pre-bias. Do not like start jumping in the chair. Oh, this is a PYQ, this is a PYQ. What happens there is even one word changed here and there changes the entire question, the understanding of that, and the answer as well. So do not read any question with a pre-bias. This is a question I've seen in PYQ. No, read every question like it's a new question. Read all the options correctly. For your image-based questions, go retrospective, look at the option and match the image. Many times in your image-based questions, remember that it might be that you are not able to identify the image, but still you are able to answer the question just based on the clinical history, right? For example, vein of Galen malformation, history of a neonate with hydrocephalus and heart failure. That is enough to tell you that the image given is a vein of Galen malformation. You know, so that's another trap generally laid. Remember that you might not know the image in all the image-based questions, but the clinical history plays a significant role in that, right? Thank you so much, Pratyush. I'm glad, you know, we could get back. And trust me, guys, each one of you have that potential to crack the exam, right? Just have that faith and the belief that no matter whatever or however I have been in my MBBS days, whether I've studied well, I've not studied well, but using the right tactics, you can solve, you can crack these exams. Okay, they're not very difficult. Yeah. So if you want to quickly, you know, review the tricks that we have learned, you are done with your PYQs, you are done with your short. You can even watch the MCQ discussion videos that we have in the app to learn the MCQ solving tricks. For someone who's not confident about the tricks on how to rule out options, you can go through the INICET test and discussion that we have, or the PYQ based test series as well, to quickly learn the tricks, right? So they would be relaxing as well. Okay, all right, guys. Anybody has any queries, or should we call off for the day, guys? And remember, I'll be waiting to hear from each one of you. Just take care of the small things, and that will give you the big results, right? It is these small things that make a big difference in these exams. So just take care of that. Most important is your mind that you have to take care of, your attitude that you have to take care of. Reach the center well in time. Please take the admit card and the ID that is required. Right, and all the very best. That is what I would like to say. This was Nirta. Nirta, your name is changed here. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Just maintain your calm. That is of utmost importance. One thing that I would like to underline is stay calm. That is very, very important. No matter what happens, do not get panicked. Okay, that is of the utmost importance. So all the very best, everyone, and waiting to hear from each one of you tomorrow, and given your best shot. My best wishes, my blessings, my prayers are with each one of you. Okay, with each one of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye. Take care and keep studying. Keep revising, keep synapsing, and keep winning. Thank you so much.